Okay, welcome to the Class 23 video. This is the last video that's just on translating from English into SL. And what I've got here are older videos of me walking through problems from two problem sets, two problem parts, Part E and Part G. And those are also the homework problems that are due for Class 23. So you should try them. If you get stuck on them, you can watch these videos. For Class 24, we're going to move on to talk about a deep feature of the syntax of SL that wasn't present in our previous system of categorical logic. So we're going to move away from simply translating into SL into understanding the logical structure of the thing that we're translating. Okay, I received a request for additional clarification on how to do parts E and G in problem set 3. So right now I'm just going to run through a couple problems in part E, and I'll do a separate video for G. So part E says, give a symbolization key and then symbolize the following sentences in SL. So this is essentially exactly the same as what you were doing in Part A, except you have to write your own translation key. So let's go over and look at A, right? So this is the way A worked. You were given 3 sentences and told that M would stand for the first sentence. Those creatures are men in suits. C would stand for the second sentence. Those creatures are chimpanzees. And G would stand for those creatures are gorillas. And then you just went through, right? You got a sentence like those creatures are men in suits or they are not. And so you realize that would be the first part is M, the second part is not M, and that's connected by an or. So M or not M. So you want to do the same thing over here, except this time you need to write your own dictionary. And actually the way the problems work, it's cumulative. That is, you can use one dictionary and just add new sentences to it as you go through the problem set. So you could start here. Number 1 says Alice and Bob are both spies. So let's just make A, Alice is a spy. And B can be Bob is a spy. Then Alice and Bob are both spies would simply be A and B, like that. And we'll make these all the same size. Right? For number 2, it says, if either Alice or Bob is a spy, then the code has been broken. So you can do that first sentence. The first part of the sentence, A, and now it's or, right? A or B. If either Alice or Bob is a spy is A or B, and then that implies something. So we're going to have our arrow, and now we see that the next sentence is something new. The code has been broken, so we can go back here and add that. C, the code has been broken. And so then you get down here, A or B implies C. And so that's actually pretty straightforward. It's just what you were doing previously with one extra task added. Okay, this is the walkthrough for part G of problem set 3. And for this one, I'm just going to walk you through how to put together the answer that's right there in the example problem. This is a fairly important problem set because it's bringing together skills from a couple of different places. And I often see on the test that people get this one wrong because they don't recognize the skills that were, or the problems that were done elsewhere and how they apply to this situation. So what you're given here is an argument in, a full argument in English. And you want to put that both into standard form with premise and conclusion marked, and then translate it into our symbolic language SL, providing your own dictionary. So let's just break this up into steps, actually, and do it one bit at a time. So the first thing you want to do whenever you look at an argument is identify the conclusion. The conclusion here is this bit after the word so, right? So is an indicator word, in a conclusion indicator word. So this, what I just marked in red, is the conclusion. So what we're going to do is we're going to put that down here, and we're going to just mark it with a C, right? That means the other two statements are premises, P1 and P2. And we're going to put this all in red to indicate that it's an answer, right? So if Dorothy plays piano in the morning, then Roger wakes up cranky. That's our first premise. And then our second premise is Dorothy plays piano in the morning unless she is distracted, right? So that's our second premise. And then we get the conclusion. So that's the argument in standard form in English. But our job wasn't just to put it into standard form in English, it was to translate it into SL. So what we need to do now is see how many sentences this needs, right? And we can see this first sentence, if Dorothy plays piano in the morning, then Roger wakes up cranky. That's an if-then statement with two sentences in it, right? So we can just say A, Dorothy plays piano in the morning, and B, morning, Roger wakes up cranky. And that means that our first premise is P1. A implies B, right? Second sentence says Dorothy plays piano in the morning unless she's distracted. So the first part of that is just the same letter we had before, A. And remember, unless is the same as or. And now we've got a new sentence, she is distracted. So we're going to make that one C. We put that in our dictionary here, C. Dorothy is distracted. The one thing to remember is that when you're writing your dictionary, make every item in the dictionary a complete sentence that stands on its own. You can make it short, you can drop out unnecessary content, but you need it to be a complete statement, because I'm trying to emphasize the idea that reasoning works on units that are true and false fundamentally. That is, complete statements. So then our conclusion is just if Roger does not wake up cranky, so that's going to be not B, then Dorothy must be distracted. Not B implies C. And so this is our final answer here, this part. And what's above it was just an interim step that I did to let you know how to do it. And as you can see, our final answer then corresponds to what is actually displayed in the example as a final answer.